Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the incredible world of one of the planet's most successful creatures, ants. You see them everywhere, marching in lines, but have you ever stopped to think about what's really going on in their complex societies? From the notorious fire ant to the humble carpenter ant, these tiny insects have some of the most fascinating life stories on Earth. So let's shrink down and explore the secret lives of ants. First, let's talk about what makes an ant an ant. They belong to a family called Formicidae and are related to wasps and bees. You can spot them by their elbowed antennae and a distinct node-like structure that forms their slim waist. There are over 12,000 known species of ants, and they live on every continent except Antarctica. They are the ultimate survivors and colonizers. The foundation of any ant society is the colony. Think of it as a massive, bustling city, often hidden underground, inside trees, or even in mounds built from soil. Within this city, every ant has a specific job. It's a highly organized system based on a caste structure. You have the queen, or sometimes multiple queens, whose sole purpose is to lay eggs. Then you have the male ants, called drones, whose only job is to mate with a queen. And finally, you have the vast majority of the colony, the female worker ants. These are the ones you see foraging for food, building the nest, and defending the colony. They are all sterile and dedicate their entire lives to serving their queen and sisters. Let's look at some of the different professions a worker ant might have. There are the foragers who venture out to find food. They leave behind a trail of chemicals called pheromones, which act like a map for their sisters to follow, leading them directly to the food source. That's why you often see ants marching in a perfect line. Then there are the soldier ants, which are often larger and have more powerful mandibles. Their job is to protect the colony from predators like birds, spiders, or even other ant colonies. Yes, ant wars are a real thing, and they can be incredibly brutal. Inside the nest, you'll find nurse ants who care for the queen and the young, and construction workers who tirelessly expand and repair the nest. It's a perfect example of teamwork, with every individual working for the greater good of the colony. Now, how does a new colony even begin? It all starts with a dramatic event called the nuptial flight. On a warm, humid day, winged virgin queens and male drones from many different colonies will fly into the air in a massive swarm. This is their one and only chance to mate. The males will die shortly after mating, their life's purpose fulfilled. The newly fertilized queen, however, is just beginning her journey. She will land, break off her own wings, and find a suitable spot to start a new colony. Once she's found her spot, she'll dig a small chamber, seal herself inside, and begin laying her first batch of eggs. During this time, she doesn't eat at all. She survives by metabolizing her now useless wing muscles for energy. She personally raises this first generation of workers, feeding them with her own saliva. These first workers, often called nanitics, are smaller than average but are crucial for the colony's survival. Once they mature, they take over all the work, foraging for food, expanding the nest, and caring for the new batches of eggs the queen lays. The queen then becomes a full-time egg-laying machine, producing thousands, sometimes millions of eggs over her lifetime, which can be up to 30 years for some species. Let's zoom in on a few specific types of ants to see how diverse they are. Take the leafcutter ants of Central and South America. They are the farmers of the ant world. You might see them carrying pieces of leaves back to their nest, but they don't actually eat the leaves. Instead, they chew them into a pulp and use it to grow a special type of fungus. This fungus is the colony's primary food source. They meticulously cultivate their fungal gardens, even weeding out unwanted molds. It's a stunning example of agriculture that evolved millions of years before humans even existed. Then there are the army ants. These ants are nomadic predators. They don't build permanent nests. Instead, they form a temporary living nest, called a bivouac, made entirely from their own bodies, linking legs and bodies together to protect the queen and her young in the center. Every day, they march across the forest floor in a massive swarm, consuming any insect, spider, or small animal that can't get out of their way. They are a true force of nature. And of course, we have to talk about the fire ant. Originally from South America, these ants have spread across the world and are famous for their painful sting. When a fire ant stings, it injects a venom that causes a burning sensation, hence the name. Their colonies build large, visible mounds, and if you disturb one, they will swarm out aggressively to defend it. What makes them so successful is their adaptability. A fire ant queen can lay up to 1,600 eggs a day, allowing their colonies to grow incredibly fast. During floods, they can even link their bodies together to form a living raft, floating on the water until they find dry land. They're a perfect example of a highly resilient and invasive species. But not all ants are so aggressive. Consider the carpenter ants. They get their name because they build their nests inside wood. They don't eat the wood like termites do. They just excavate it to create smooth tunnels and galleries for their colony. While they can be a pest if they decide to move into your house, in the wild, they play an important role in helping to decompose dead trees. The life cycle of an individual ant is also quite remarkable. It starts as an egg. After a few weeks, the egg hatches into a legless, worm-like larva. The larvae are completely helpless and rely on the nurse ants to feed and clean them. They are eating machines, and as they grow, they molt, or shed their skin, several times. Once a larva reaches a certain size, it spins a silk cocoon around itself and enters the pupa stage. It looks like a motionless, pale version of an adult ant. Inside this casing, a miraculous transformation occurs, similar to a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Finally, a fully formed adult ant emerges. The communication between these millions of individuals is what truly makes ant colonies so amazing. It's almost entirely based on chemicals. Pheromones are used for everything, marking trails, signaling danger, identifying nestmates, and even indicating their social status. They also communicate through touch, tapping each other with their antennae, and some even make sounds by stridulating, which is rubbing parts of their body together to create vibrations. So, from the agricultural leafcutters and nomadic army ants to the resilient fire ants and woodworking carpenter ants, the world of ants is mind-bogglingly complex and diverse. Each colony is a superorganism, a single entity made of thousands of individuals working in perfect harmony. The next time you see a line of ants marching on the sidewalk, maybe you'll see them a little differently. You're not just looking at bugs, you're witnessing one of the most successful and organized societies on the planet. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the ant world. If you found this as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into the natural world. Let me know in the comments which type of ant you find the most interesting. See you in the next video.